McDonald's. I'm loving it.
A forensic expert testified today in the Donna Vasily murder trial. Fern Carey tells us which items were collected from the crime scene and what a U.S.-based DNA expert discovered after testing those items.
An expert in forensic biology, Police Inspector Sharia King, testified that back in July, she collected a number of items and transported them to a DNA lab in Florida for testing and analysis. Those items, King testified, included fingernail clippings from murder victim Philip Vasily, blood samples from a number of witnesses, including the wife of the deceased, Donna Vasily, who is accused of his murder. Other items, according to King, including swabs from the handle and blade of a knife and wine glasses found in the home. She testified that a multicolored dress was also submitted on August 22nd and September 9th in a sealed brown bag. Following questions from prosecutor Neil Brathwaite, King explained the process of testing for blood on clothing and what happens if the results are negative or positive. Defense attorney Mira DeSeal also asked Inspector King if she had seen the multicolored dress before, and she admitted that the first time she saw it was in court. She also testified that she had not dealt with the items and only reviewed the report. Now, a DNA expert was expected to testify by video link. However, the results of the DNA testing were read into the record instead by court clerk Andy Saunders. That included 4 separate reports dated August 31st and September 2nd, 3rd, and 11th. The reports revealed that no DNA was detected on the knife handle and handle tip. They also showed that a smoke pipe collected from the crime scene had a mixture of at least 2 individuals with an unknown male as a main DNA profile. However, Philip Vasily's DNA was also found on cigarette butts from the patio. Swabs from the handprint on the wall at the Old Fort Bay home also revealed the DNA of another male and not just that of the deceased. The DNA of the deceased was also found on a cigarette on the kitchen counter and on samples cut from the mat footprints. Cuttings from a bedsheet and mattress cover also showed a mixture of DNAs, including the deceased. However, no sperm was found. A mixture of at least 2 individuals' DNA was also found on the multicolored dress, with the major DNA profile matching that of Philip Vasily. Donna Vasily's DNA was excluded, while a minor DNA profile proved inconclusive. Another report on September 2nd showed that the DNA of at least 2 people were on the multicolored dress, with Philip Vasily as a minor DNA profile. The report of September 11th revealed that the beige bra had a mixture of 3 people with at least 1 male contributor, and on the multicolored dress there was a mixture of at least 2 individuals with major profile matching that of an unknown male. Now, jurors will visit the crime scene in Old Fort Bay Tuesday morning. Fern Carey, ZNS Network News.
2 brothers appeared in a magistrate's court in connection with that murder in Palm Key last week. Jimmy DeSwain was there and tells us one of the men became very emotional.
2 brothers appeared before Chief Magistrate Joy-Ann Ferguson Pratt accused of murder and gun-related charges. The man, 39-year-old Dwayne Hasty of Palm Key in the black jacket and 36-year-old Samuel Hasty of Sandilands Village Road in the blue jacket. Police say the men, while concerned together, intentionally and unlawfully caused the death of Jane Richmond on September 18th. It's further alleged that the man possessed a 12-gauge shotgun and 6 live rounds without a firearm certificate in force on the same date. The chief magistrate informed the men that they would not be required to enter a plea. Representing the pair was attorney Krista Mason-Smith, who told the court that Dwayne Hasty was denied access to his counsel on the day of his arrest. In particular, Smith said she was not allowed communication with her client while he was at the Elizabeth Estates police station. The attorney said she was allowed to see a client at a later time. However, during the record of interview at the Central Detective Unit, Smith said she was again denied access to him until the interview was completed. The attorney asked that the case against her clients be reviewed by the Attorney General's office because they should not be before the court on the charge of murder. Further, she said that the men are desirous of having their names cleared. She also asked for her clients to be seen by a therapist or psychiatrist at the Department of Corrections, as she is concerned about their mental health. The Chief Magistrate reminded the attorney that her clients are cloaked in innocence until or unless proven guilty, and public perception ought not to be a concern concern. She said that the matter would be reviewed by the Crown. Dwayne Hasty became emotional during the process and told the chief magistrate that while in custody, he had received death threats. Hasty said he was told that people would try to destroy their lives by killing them for what has been discussed on social media. Now, October 13th was set for a status hearing on the case. Depending on the outcome of that review, the matter would proceed by way of a voluntary bill of indictment that's set for November 9th. Jimenita Swain, ZNS Network News.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business Monday. I'm Altaviz Munnings. The Fidelity Group of companies advising customers that its company website has been temporarily taken offline due to a hacking threat from an organization calling itself Hack for Trump. The organization is seeking a $30,000 payment for its cooperation in not making the information it holds public, stating that, quote, if Fidelity does pay us, we plan on using those funds to help Donald Trump get elected to the White House, as he is the only candidate who can restore America to its former glory, end quote. The bank sent a statement to Fidelity Business today, noting that its websites are hosted by a third-party vendor and only used for marketing and general customer inquiries. Fidelity officials confirmed they have analyzed the websites that were reportedly hacked, and they hold minimal client information. The bank verified that only the web server at its vendor's location was compromised. None of Fidelity's secure servers, which host client and banking information, were impacted, and no customer logins or other security details were affected. Now, Fidelity has not acceded to the blackmail demand and has taken all reasonable steps to ensure that client data has not been compromised. While monitoring its own servers and ensuring that appropriate internet security measures are in place, Fidelity Bahamas urges customers to be extra vigilant and call its customer service department in case of any doubt. The matter has been reported to law enforcement officials. In other business news this Monday, Minister of State for Investments, the Honorable Kaylis Rolle, encouraging broad-based private sector participation in crafting the country's national development plan called Vision 2040 this past weekend at the British Colonial Hilton Hotel. He updated the media on the progress of the National Development Plan by noting that minimizing the role of the politician in this national process is one way of ensuring that Bahamians get a firm understanding of where this country needs to go. The Secretariat, he says, expects to conclude this three-phase National Development Plan by the first quarter of 2016. And in international business news, starting today, the United States eased restrictions on business and travel with Cuba. The latest move by U.S. President Barack Obama is expected to improve relations with the country. Now, the rules relate to travel, telecom, internet-based services, business operations, banking, and remittances. The changes come as the U.S. and Cuba normalize relations after 53 years. And that was your Royal Fidelity Business News Monday. I'm Altaviz Munnings.
The Ministry of Health is engaging allied health service providers for the launch of its healthcare training program. The program, which will span between 6 months for some people to 2 years for others, comes at a cost of $600,000. Minister of Health, the Honorable Dr. Perry Gomez, said just over 100 people will be trained.
In particular, 80 patient care technicians, 20 anesthesia assistant technicians, 24 surgical operating theater technicians, and 30 emergency medical technicians.
Among the more than 150 successful applicants that will benefit from the Allied Healthcare Training, special consideration is being given to Family Island applicants. This is because of the appreciation of the sacrifices and interests these persons have demonstrated in desiring to participate in building a stronger, better healthcare system across the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. This is a significant milestone in our preparedness strategic plan to support the transformation of the present curative healthcare system to one that is people or community-centered with more individual responsibility and accountability.
They may be a long way from the capital, but Acklands is just a phone call away. We talked to the island's chief counselor about how she stays connected with the rest of the Bahamas and beyond. Here's tonight's BTC Island Connection.
backyard in Acklands, this woman beats a cascarilla bark. It'll be shipped off to Europe for processing to make the popular Campari beverage. But that's not the only drink source.
You have a bohog bush, five finger, falabelle. In other words, you heard the name of falabelle and the other name they call it stiff something, I don't know.
The simple life hasn't changed here in a lot of ways, but telecommunications sure has.
What the commercial said about, what's the guy, Chris Brown fast speed. I don't think Chris Brown have that much speed for this.
Chief Counselor Tyrone Gilbert doesn't miss the old days when a quick call couldn't remedy much.
God forbid if the phone is down, in a settlement and you had to actually walk or ride because, it was unbearable, because life depends on it in certain times, especially emergency, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good, I can tell you that, because I was a part of it,
Fast forward to 2015, Gilbert is online with his daughter, who experiences a very different reality.
What I do, I usually surf the net or the web. I usually look up for information. Here it is, I'm looking up some information concerning some recipe on how to prepare food and, things like that. And the other day, my daughter asked me because her data, it was down. She asked me, Daddy, could you look up this for me? Find those things at hand.
Keishla Adderley for the BTC Island Connection.